Ready to level up your leadership from the ground up? This is Lead from the Line. Here's your host, Coach Mac.
Coach Mac, Coach Mac, here is your host, Coach Mac, Coach Mac.
Yo, welcome back to Lead from the Line podcast. I'm your host, Coach Mac. I know it's been a minute. Let me explain. So, I'm in the process of moving my family across the state. A lot of stuff going on. So right now I'm kind of in a transition spot. You notice the background looks a little bit different, but I'm still going to try to maintain the podcast and give insight into stuff that I've been seeing around youth sports and all those things. And so I appreciate everybody. I'm sorry it's taken a minute to get another episode, but if you've ever transitioned, you know how difficult that can be, right? So if you're watching this and you see that subscribe notification pop up right here, somewhere right here on the screen, please make sure you click that bell notification. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, smash that follow button, please. Share, do all the things, right? I'm not asking again to have the biggest, baddest podcast in the world, but I'm asking if you like the material and you like what you hear, please share it. So work with me again. This is a whole different setup. I'm doing my best to try to get it, just to try to, like I said, to try to get some information out that can benefit those who really need to hear it. And so kind of the thing I wanted to talk about today is we're calling this kind of a special edition episode. And to put it, bluntly, I guess, I don't care if your child is elite. That's the title of today's episode. I do not care if your child is elite. And right, I don't care if your child's the next Division I athlete. I don't care if your child is the next MVP, the next phenom, right? I don't care about those things. And so I just think that's some of the issue that we have nowadays in youth sports is that everyone wants to raise those things. They want to raise the next superstar. They want their kids to be the MVP of every league they're in. They want their kid to be the next phenom, the next LeBron James, the next Patrick Mahomes, the next Allison Felix on the track, on the track, like all of those things. And I get that. I hope somebody who listens to this podcast, I hope you have a kid who's dominant. I hope you have a kid who goes D1. I hope you have a kid who goes pro. I truly do. I love the sport so much, and I have such a heart for children and seeing them grow and develop and accomplish goals and how excited they get when they accomplish those goals and everything. And I want your kids to do those things, and I want your kids to be successful. But somewhere along the way, we stopped caring about raising good humans. And honestly, that scares me more than a kid losing a game ever could, right? So I've seen talented kids become entitled adults. I've seen gifted athletes grow up with no discipline, no accountability, no emotional control, right? And the thing about that I don't like even more is I've seen parents celebrate the stat sheet while ignoring all these character flaws, all these character issues, right? And that's not success to me. If that's your goal and that's all you care about is the things your kid does on a field, on a court, I really challenge you to look in the mirror. I really do. Let's think about this world. Let's think about all the things we see in the news, right? All the craziness at youth sports, all the craziness around the world. This world doesn't need great athletes. This world needs great humans. And so when we're talking about that, right? Lead from the Line, this podcast, it was never about sports. It never was, hey, the main thing that I'm doing this podcast for is to talk about sports. I've already stated I love sports. I will watch every sporting event on TV. They have this new one, these pillow fighting championships. Did I watch and tune in just to see what it was about? Absolutely. Because deep down inside, I'm a competitor. I'm an ultimate competitor. I won't let my kids beat me at anything. I love sports. But this podcast it was never about sports. Sports is the classroom, right? The message is about leadership, discipline, integrity, respect, faith, mental toughness. All of those things, right? And becoming the kind of man or woman that people want around. And not just want around, the ones they want around when life gets hard, when things get difficult. You can look over and be like, that person right there, that guy, that girl, I want them in my corner. I want them to walk with me in tough seasons of life because they get it. They model all of those things, right? Because we've got to sit down and we've got to talk about this. And one day trophies and stuff in sports, it all ends. Okay? When kids get to a certain age, they don't get a trophy just because, right? All those cool rings and trophies that kids are getting, they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong. We've got some and they're amazing the way these rings look, but it's like that stops one day. And your kid doesn't get a trophy for walking into their job. Now, hear me out. I always pull back if they are in a job where they get trophies, cool. But you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at in the grand scheme of things. And so basically when sports ends, what's left? When your kid is no longer playing sports, what type of things did they learn when they were in a classroom? Remember what I was saying? Sports is just the classroom. What type of things did your kid learn? Or I could even go here. Your kids that you coached, what type of things did they learn from you? And so the thing that I really want to talk about, I kind of broke this down in a couple segments, is we've created monsters. And I say we all the time because I'm not exempt from any of this. You can be listening to this and you can say, this man doesn't know what he's talking about. I didn't do nothing. I've never gotten in a fight with a ref. I've never done this. We've created monsters. And by we, I mean adults. I mean parents. I mean coaches. Anyone who influences a kid, we've created those monsters because kids mimic what they see. Okay, and so we've got parents screaming at refs at 8-year-old games. You got these parents yelling and screaming in front of the kids. Coaches humiliating kids for making a mistake. A mistake in a game, right? Adults fighting in parking lots over travel ball. Come on, man. What for? I want someone to let me know what in the world is that is worth fighting over. I get it. People run their mouths. There are always going to be people in every situation we face. And this is something I teach kids as well, is that you cannot control how you act, how you respond. Time out. I said that totally wrong. Back up. You can't control how other people act, how other people respond, but you can control how you react and how you respond. In every single situation, let Bob be a fool over there. Let Jimmy be the one acting up, yelling at the refs. You don't got to do it. And so kids throwing tantrums because they get taken out of a game. Kids throwing their hands up and not getting spoken to for that. This is my biggest pet peeve, is when a kid does something in the game and as a coach, I say something and they go, excuse me? You go ahead and come sit right over here by me until you get this out of your system and we'll talk about it, right? Mistakes are made and I get that. But what we do is we take accountability. If we've worked, if we've trained, if we've done everything to get prepared for certain situations, and then the situation arises and we don't handle it the right way, we ain't doing all this, right? And so the bad thing about all this is people act like it's normal now. You see it on every social media site. Search youth sports problems, search youth sports videos, and you'll see some cool ones and then you'll see the fights. You'll see some cool ones and you'll see the ones with no sportsmanship. You'll see some cool ones and you'll see one with referees yelling at parents and vice versa. Like, why? Why? How in the world have we gotten to the point where this is the norm now? So we're raising a generation that's being taught performance equals value. If they score, if your kid scores, they get attention. If they dominate, they get celebrated. But who's teaching them humility, emotional control, resilience, leadership, respect? Who's teaching those things? Who's teaching kids how to lose without blaming everybody else? Who's teaching them that the world does not owe them playing time? We're so obsessed with building athletes that some parents are completely ignoring character. And here's the truth, right? Here's the kicker that nobody wants to talk about. A kid with bad character eventually becomes, this is going to shock you right here, an adult with bad character. Whoa. Did you get that? It's deep, very profound. Bad character now, bad character when they get older. And I know somebody's like, no, it's not true. They're kids. They can develop. They can. But will they? Because they've not been taught those things, right? And sports doesn't hide those things forever. Eventually, life will expose those character issues. It will, and you know it will. And so I started Lead from the Line podcast because I got tired of watching adults fail kids. Not because kids are soft, because adults stopped leading. And adults stopped leading the right way. Too many parents want to be friends with their kids instead of leaders, right? Too many coaches care more about winning over developing these kids. Too many people are building highlight tapes instead of building humans. I mean, I'm coming right up to that line, and I'm towing it, and I'm leaning over that line. Enough is enough. Yeah, I'm one voice. Can I make an impact? Yeah, I feel I can. I feel somebody somewhere is going to hear this, and they're going to make a change in the way they coach. Then they're going to make a change in the way that they parent. And then someone's going to see that and be like, oh man, I like the way he's doing that. Let me change the way I do it as well. That's all this is about. Is I've made mistakes. Maybe you've made mistakes. How can we be better together and do things the right way? So here we go, right? I don't care if my kid becomes famous. I could care less if my kid is famous and has a big Instagram following or has this and has that. I could care less. You know what I do care about? I care that my kids respect people. I care that my kids, no matter what's going to happen in the situation, that they tell the truth. I care that my kids stay disciplined when nobody's watching. All right? I care that my kids know how to handle adversity. Right? I care that my kids protect people instead of tearing them down. I care that my kids are dependable. That people can say, hey, we can count on them to do the right thing. I care that my kids become mentally tough. And that's something here, sitting here as a 38-year-old man. I got a birthday coming up soon. I'll be 39. I will tell you something. That's what makes me feel bulletproof is this. You can say whatever you want about me. I can be put in any type of situation. And with my mental toughness and my faith, let me flip that. With my faith first and my mental toughness, I don't worry. I'm going to get through a situation, right? And I want that same thing for my kids. I had to crawl through the mud in certain situations to get this mental toughness. And that's one thing I can tell everybody. When you get that, almost that I'm completely unbothered type trait about you, man, you're tough. Nothing bugs you. And that's how I choose to live my life, right? And I want my kids to be a good spouse one day. I want my kids to be a good parent one day. And I want my kids to lead in every situation. You're in the 4th grade, my guy, lead. You're going into the 7th grade in a new school. Guess what? Lead. From day one, you walk in that classroom. Teachers have a hard enough job as it is. And you let that teacher know, hey, these other kids may be acting crazy. You ain't got to worry about me. You can count on me to help you out. Lead. And so, man, let's just talk real quick about some hard-hitting truths. And I really want you to, I challenge you to find one of these that I say and send it to somebody who can benefit. That's how it starts. If something hits you and you like it, share it with somebody, right? Here we go. This one right here. Your kid doesn't need another trainer if they don't know how to respect their mom. I'm going to say that one again. Quit hiring trainers if your kids are disrespectful to their mother. Ooh. They don't need a trainer. They need respect and discipline. That's good. Here we go. A championship in youth sports means nothing if your kid grows up entitled. And I'm going to pause on these because some of these are good. I need you to process. I need you to think about that. Some parents are raising athletes, but they're failing to raise adults. You listen, you hear that, and you kind of get that little lump in your throat. I might be talking to you, and you might need to reassess what you're aiming for, what your end point is, what your goals are for your kids. It's okay. We all make mistakes. I've made plenty of them. But where I will not make a mistake is raising my kids to be who they need to be. This is huge right here. Your child watching you lose emotional control is doing more damage than any coach ever could. So if you're acting a fool on the sideline at your kids' games and your kid has a bad coach, you're still worse. And it's time to make a change. The loudest parents in the stands usually think they're helping, but most of the time, all you're doing is feeding pressure and anxiety. Kids put enough pressure on themselves. Sometimes I think we feel like as adults that kids don't feel pressure. Kids don't have anxiety. They have it all. And so when they've gone through practices and preparation for big games and the game gets tight and the game is on the line and everyone's yelling and everyone's screaming, are you saying positive things to lift them up and let them know, hey, you've done all the work, play free? Or are you yelling things that makes it even worse? And then that kid doesn't do what they're trained or what they've done and practiced because they're worried about letting you down. That's a good one too, right? If your child only feels loved when they perform well, that's not motivation. That's emotional conditioning. Who cares? Go with me for a second. This is crazy. This is wild. If your kid loses a game, do you love them less? I mean, that's a solid question. So do you pull up to the game on Saturday and you love your kid this much, and then you lose the game and man, I don't love that kid as much because of the way they played the game? Absolutely not. Love your kid regardless of how they perform, right? Being on the bench can teach more character than a starting position ever will. And I always go back. Certain ages, they're young. Everybody plays. Everybody gets development. As they get older, playing time may not be guaranteed. But what does your kid do to ensure they get the playing time? And even if they're not getting the playing time, how do they handle stuff? Are they resilient? Do they fight through? Do they keep working? Do they ask the coach, hey, what can I do to get more time? Those kind of things. Not my mom and my dad are going to throw a fit and they're going to contact the coach and we're going to have a big fight and a big argument, da 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 blah blah. No. Do what you need to do. Get your time. You want it, go earn it. Go get it, right? Some kids don't need more confidence, they need more accountability. Hey, your kid's rock solid. Your kid can do it all on the football field. But your kid also acts a fool in class. Hold him accountable. All those things. I don't care how good of an athlete you are if you're a jerk. I don't care how good of an athlete you are if you're always causing issues in class. And the teacher's always having to call home like, hey, your son did this, your daughter did this. I don't care. And I think that's the issue is too many people do care. Well, he's the great athlete. He can't get in trouble. Get him in trouble. Make him miss a game. Teach him to be accountable. Don't just brush it under the rug because he's your best player. Same concept. The kid misses practice. Cool. Was it for a reason that he couldn't control or she couldn't control? Okay, that's different. But he just didn't want to come to practice today, coach. He missed practice. Well, cool. He's not playing the first quarter. Oh, he missed 2 practices. Cool. He ain't playing the first half. Oh, he missed another one. Cool. He ain't playing this week. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm not just going to let you get away with stuff because I want to win a game. So if you can't hold up your end of the bargain, well, guess what? Sit over here on the bench and watch. I guarantee if more people held kids accountable to those things, it would change a lot. And then we take that up the line. Adults, we act up. We can be held accountable. All these fights and stuff I see at these youth sports games is stupid. You want to get in a fight at a youth sports game and go to jail over youth sports? Come on, man. And then you're at work talking about, man, I got in trouble at a youth sports game. How stupid does that sound? I don't like the word stupid, but how stupid does that sound? Hold yourself to a higher standard. If not, you will be held accountable and you will look like a fool in a newspaper for getting in the fight at a youth sports game. Come on, man. And then sports are exposing parents more than they're exposing kids. You see right away which of those parents are crazy. And again, I've got to the point now with Leave from the Line. Like, I don't care if I hurt a couple people's feelings. I don't. I generally have a heart for people. It's what I do for personal. It's what I do for work. I care. I want people to thrive. I want people to be the best they can be in every single situation, but I ain't gonna just let people act crazy and be afraid to call somebody out. You better believe it though. So if your identity as a parent depends on your kid's success, eventually you'll crush them with pressure. So like you got to get off the kids. You got to just let the kids play and the kids play free, right? Nobody talks about it enough, but like a lot of adults are trying to heal from and from their own failures. They're trying to heal from their failures as a kid, and that's why they lose their mind at games, and that's why they obsessed over what ranking their kid is, and they can't handle when their kid has to sit on the bench, and it's just because it stopped being about kids a long time ago. It's more about the adults. It's all about their parents' ego. And all that's doing is putting more and more pressure on the kids. And so the mission of Leave from the Line basically is for parents, coaches, adults who believe that character matters, right? For coaches trying to do things the right way, for dads trying to lead differently, for the moms who are holding families together quietly behind the scenes. Shout out to the mamas. We don't always see what you do, but I have a wife who holds it all together. She's the glue. And so I get that, and you're appreciated. Like, it's bigger than sports. Lead from the line means you lead first. You model it first. You live it first. And then, because kids don't become what we preach, they become what they watch and what they see us do. And if we want respectful kids, we have to model the way. We have to model respect. If we want disciplined kids, we have to model discipline. If we want emotionally strong kids, well, guess what? We got to stop emotionally exploding every weekend from the bleachers. And we got to show that we can keep it together. That's leadership. That starts at home. That starts before that kid ever touches a field, a court, a diamond, all of those things, right? And so I just want everybody to sit, and I want you to think about this, that one day your kid will stop playing sports. The uniforms will disappear, the trophies will collect dust, the crowds will move on. Again, like I said in the beginning, I hope you have a kid that plays forever. Hope they go D1. Hope they go pro. But when all that is gone, what will your kids be? That's the real scoreboard, not points, not rankings, not scholarships. Character, right? Because at the end of the day, I'd rather raise a respectful young man more than an all-star. A strong young woman instead of a social media athlete. A leader over a celebrity. That's the mission, and that's why Lead from the Line exists. And if you believe sports should build character instead of destroy it, you're in the right place. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. Please share this with a friend, share this with a family member, follow, like, subscribe, all of those things. And just always remember to lead the right way, and always remember to lead loud and lead proud. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Thanks for joining us on Lead from the Line. If this episode helped you, share it with one person who needs to hear it today. Join the conversation on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.
No flags on the play, keep your vision alive. Fatherhood and football, that's how we survive.